Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be discussing is the internet computer, also known as the world computer, founded and developed by the Dfinity Foundation. Is this crypto still a good investment as we are exiting the 2025 year and potentially also exiting the bull market for this Bitcoin halving cycle? So in today's video, we're going to be exploring all the metrics on internet computer, some of the previous conversations that we've had, and also understand from a pricing perspective and the potential for internet computer to move higher in a price. Is this a good investment or is this a bad investment? And I also want to know what you guys think down below in the comments of this video. So let me know your thoughts. Are you holding, selling, buying, or a combination of all of that with the ICP crypto? And so let's get right into today's video and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We upload every single day to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. We also have a ton of ICP content right on the Cryptoviser podcast. So make sure you give this video an absolutely free thumbs up. And also, definitely go to my channel, type in ICP right on the video page, and you'll be able to see all of our internet computer videos. Now, generally speaking, I've been a very big bull this year in 2025 on internet computer. It really started in 2024 when we saw the first implementation of artificial intelligence, basically coding programs for the internet computer and running the compute on the internet computer blockchain network. But since then, and since the launch of ICP, we've seen a lot of positive sentiment and positive developments. We've seen the network become the fastest blockchain on the planet with over 5,000 transactions per second. At peak, it was about 12,000 transactions per second. And this put internet computer as the fastest blockchain on Earth, faster than Solana, which has held that title for quite a while. We've also covered the fact that the Dfinity and the developers have been restructuring and reorganizing the internet computer network, and specifically the validators on the network, which are called node operators and subnets. And they've been opening up some of these for specific to the US, specific to Europe, so that they're in compliance with the regulatory regime there and local laws, especially when you're talking about AI implementations and storage of data on a decentralized network. In certain areas, there's specific rules or laws or data compliance that they have to follow. And so these open networks wouldn't be, I guess you would say, approved in those locations, and companies would be probably a little bit hesitant to use those networks. But because internet computer is going to be this kind of global compute, global storage, AI network, they're trying to implement, it looks like levels to be able to comply with those local laws and rules and regulatory requirements. And so that's why we're seeing some of these subnets opening up. You can see there's one European subnet here. We've done videos about the USA rollout. I think I had a video right here about, right here. It's called ICP, the USA rollout. Now, there's still a lot that's happening behind the scenes, and a lot of this can take time. But we really need to assess where the metrics of the internet computer are. Because as you guys know, I am an investor. I am not an engineer, I'm not a coder, and I am not connected to any of these projects that we talk about on this channel. None of them pay me. It would be nice if they did, but they don't. I don't even think, we have a few members on this channel from the ICP community, but even the likes of Dominic, he's not even a subscriber to the channel, at least that I know of. But he's definitely not a member of the channel, which kind of hurts. But anyway, I'm just joking. But the point here is that we talk about internet computer, and I've been very, very bullish on internet computer. And I'm trying to have a lot of patience with all of my investments, not just internet computer. But, I posted a video the other day. It should be out by the time you're watching this video, called "Did ICP Rug Pull Us?" And granted, that was probably a very clickbaity title, and it probably worked because you probably clicked on it. But the point here is, I don't necessarily know that they rug pulled us, because the technology that they're developing and the technology that they've demoed, specifically from Caffeine AI and some of the other implementations of some of the projects that are running, like Kong Swap and 2-Click DeFi, we've done videos on those as well. These are real projects run by real people, and they have real products, right? And they're trying to develop these. You can go to the Internet Computer dashboard and click on the DAOs and click all SNS DAOs. This is service nervous system. That's like the core of the Internet Computer. And the DAOs are projects that are running on the Internet Computer ecosystem. And so we're seeing a lot of projects developing, a lot of projects releasing products, at least first versions of these products. Some of these are very high level integrations. We also have covered on previous videos that the Dfinity development team is based out of Switzerland, which is a lot of money, guys. A lot of money, a lot of the bankers. That's where they have their maybe primary or secondary homes. And it seems like there is some connection where the government, the Swiss government, wants Internet Computer to do very well, and they're kind of working with them. That's what it seems, at least from a distance, from what we've seen from announcements and what the Dfinity team has been doing. We've also covered that the banks are going to be using Internet Computer ecosystem. It seems that way, at least. With the likes of Citibank sending their employees to the World Computer Summit that just occurred in the middle of 2025, where they launched the AI capabilities of the network. And I posted that video and people were like, no, Cryptoviser, he's just there on his own time. I'm like, yeah, so somebody from Citibank traveled to, I don't know where it was, Africa or something like that, just to go and see what one blockchain project called Dfinity is trying to do with the Internet Computer ecosystem and teach people about project management. That's what the comments and the feedback I got from that video. Well, we ended up finding out that the Citibank chief financial officer was on, I think, Bloomberg or CNBC, and literally confirmed that they are involved, not necessarily with Internet Computer, but with blockchain technology. And so I would definitely recommend watching this video. ICP, I was right, and the thumbnail is banks involved have confirmed. There's also another video where we broke down the initial suspicion that the banks were getting involved. I think it's this one, ICP Top Secret Partner. That was one about banks as well. I mean, I have so many videos about Internet Computer. It's crazy. And right here, Citibank Eyes ICP. Definitely recommend watching that video, and then go watch the follow-up video that I just showed you, which is the banks confirmed basically everything that I said in that other video. ICP, I was right. So there's definitely things that are going on behind the scenes, very close with Dfinity and some top partners potentially, but we're not seeing any movement in the price. And this is concerning because we are in the second half of 2025, in my view, exiting the bull market. This could take months, it could take a year, but if we're exiting the bull market, that means we're entering a bear market, right? And so if we're entering a bear market, which we may have already entered, I mean, look at this chart of Internet Computer. And by the way, this chart is not specific to Internet Computer. I mean, this one is, but how the movement higher in 2024 and then in 2025, a downtrend, a lot of cryptos are seeing this, and stocks as well. So there is a theory that we're already in a bear market, and this is why it's probably not a good idea to sell Internet Computer coins. But on the other end, there's no bottom, right? I mean, this coin can keep going lower and lower and lower. But is that going to occur? What am I doing with my portfolio? Well, let's get into that. And make sure, by the way, you are subscribed to the channel. Give the video a free thumbs up. You can also become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month. If you think my videos and my content and my analysis is worth $1.99 a month or more, click the subscribe plus or join button down below here on YouTube to learn more, and consider becoming a channel member. And to all of our channel members, thank you so much for the support. I do see you, I do see your comments, and I appreciate all of the support. You know, I'm not asking for $1.99 a month, right, to bring you guys this content completely for free. I think it's worth it. But if it's not, at least give the video a thumbs up, because thumbs up are free, crypto and membership to this channel are not. But yeah, I mean, here is my thesis on Internet Computer and my concerns. So generally speaking, I mean, if we zoom out on the price chart, it just looks abysmal. I mean, we are literally at multiple year lows, like decade lows in internet computer, right? Because it started off with $700, then it came down to 500, then went back up to 800, then it came down to under 100, and here we are. The macro bottom for internet computer was in June of 2020, September of 2023, just under $3. Now we call this literally to the penny. And I told my viewers, guys, I've been scaling in to internet computer protocol, and it shot up from $2.93 in September all the way to about $20 at the beginning of 2024. And then it's been coming down ever since. Even though we have, AI implementations, we have a lot of interest from some pretty high level like companies and stuff, but the trend is down, right? The highs we made in 2024 are lower than what we made in the beginning of 2024. And now that we're in 2025, everything keeps going down. And so there is a part of the thesis and the strategy that just says hold it, because if your dollar cost average is below like $5 or $6, in my view, there is a very small possibility, or let me rephrase, the possibility of us going below $4 or $3 or $2, that risk of going lower is, I think, a much smaller percentage than us going higher, because of that macro bottom view, and also understanding the market cap of internet computers, 2.7 billion. All the coins are in circulation. There's no more unlocks to be worried about. They have all of these implementations and integrations of all this other technology. They're really pumping up chain fusion, which is interoperability technology. We've been seeing an increase of chain key Bitcoin, which is basically like, you can consider it like wrapped Bitcoin on internet computer. That keeps increasing. We're seeing the usage of the internet computer increasing, but at the same time, we're not seeing the market reacting the way that we want, which could also be a very bearish indicator. And so that puts an investor like myself and probably many of you people in this situation where we don't know whether to hold it, buy more, or sell it. And generally speaking, like I said, I'm generally bearish on the crypto market going into 2026. That doesn't mean bearish forever. It just means short term, I'm bearish as we're moving into 2026. And so could the rug actually be pulled from internet computer and we go much, much lower? Well, let's look at some of the data. Let's look at some of the metrics outside of the internet computer dashboard, because a lot of the metrics on internet computer dashboard look great. And maybe that's because they don't want to put the not great looking metrics, but there are some metrics that don't look that great on the internet computer dashboard as well. But for this, we're going to use Token Terminal. Okay. So in Token Terminal, you can see token trading volume on internet computer for the last 365 days, for the last 1 year, is $47 billion, which is a lot of money, right? But if you see the volume increased in December of 2024. This is in line with the price movement to the upside, right? In December of 2024, that's basically where we were close to the top and basically coming down. And again, the more volume you see, the more selling there is going to be going on as the price is going higher as well. That's why there's more volume, because they're sucking that liquidity out. And that's exactly what we saw, right? And the volume has been down ever since. And although we've had little spikes here and there, it's pretty much stable. And that's not good, because we're lower than where we were last year. That's not good. Then we look at fees, right? Because fees are how the network is going to make money. Now, granted, this is a newer network, and some of the newer networks don't have fee mechanisms similar to gas, like like Ethereum or Bitcoin transaction fees, so they're much lower. But you can even see here, right? Big peak in 2024. This was when they started testing with AI. Then we saw the big run up, and then since then we're much lower than where we were last year. Revenue, same situation. And so these metrics don't look great at all. And I mean, there is definitely something to look at and say, like, is this investable? Is the rest of the crypto market looking this way as well? Why is there no interest in Internet Computer? Now, personally, you guys know, I think that the general sentiment around AI, the AI narrative, is kind of it's kind of in limbo right now. Because even in traditional markets, right, OpenAI, they cannot figure out how to monetize this ecosystem of ChatGPT and all these technologies. Same thing with Grok, XAI, Microsoft AI, Google AI. They have it, but they don't know how to make money off of it yet. And that is definitely a situation. But when they do, I think the whole AI ecosystem, if we have IPOs in AI, I think that's going to kind of pump up as well. I don't know that we're going to see that this cycle. And that could put Internet Computer on the back burner for a little bit of time, especially the fact that the AI is not running on chain. The large language model runs off chain. So it's not actually running on chain. It just deploys whatever it creates and codes on the Internet Computer blockchain, and then the Internet Computer blockchain hosts those applications. But it's not running the compute on chain, which is a problem because the network is not AI enabled, it's AI capable, meaning you can integrate AI into Internet Computer, but you can do that with any blockchain. And there's other large language models that can do that as well. Code, an Ethereum dApp, or code, a dApp for the Microsoft App Store or an Apple App Store. Like, they already have large language models that can do that. And so when we saw the rollout of Caffeine AI by Dfinity, and they didn't address any of these questions, they didn't address the fact that other large language models can do this. They can do this on other blockchains. Why is a large language model not running on chain just yet? All of these kind of questions led me to start to be concerned, right? Again, not long-term concern, because I do think that the developers at Dfinity, like I said, they have the backing of the Swiss government. They have a lot of companies and banks looking at what they're doing, but that doesn't mean they're going to succeed. Obviously, I hope they succeed. I'm an active investor, not just financially, but also right here on the channel, right? And I know a lot of you guys watching are very bullish on Internet Computer as well. But this cycle is very different than previous cycles. And the focus is not really on the technology. It's not really even on the fundamentals. This is why we see coins like Hyperliquid and SWI in the top 10, top 15 coins. I mean, these are literally highly concentrated wealth. All the money's going to the billionaires. All the billionaires are selling. There's constant dilution through token releases. Hyperliquid is just a DEX, right? But these are valued higher. They have more volume, more usage than Internet Computer, which has real technology besides just the DEX to trade meme coins like PP Coin. Like, what is SWI doing? I mean, even Solana, if you look at Solana, this was backed by the billionaires. This was pumped by the billionaires. This was developed by the billionaires. A lot of the development firms were paid by the billionaires. And what has Solana brought to us this cycle? Effectively nothing, just hype and hope and prayers and meme coins. And by the way, the Haktua coin as well. Nothing else. They told us Wall Street was going to love Solana and Wall Street was going to use it. No company is doing anything with Solana, period. DeFi Development Corp, which is a publicly traded company, is buying Solana, but those were Solana developers that went and created that company. So across the board, we are not seeing the fundamentals connecting where the market is. And I don't know why this is. I mean, there's a lot of different theories. The focus is on treasury companies. The focus is on meme coins, for retail, and the cryptos and blockchains with fundamentals. They're just getting put on the back burner. And so this can come back in two ways. One, they just continue to be put on the back burner and then they lose their value into oblivion. which a lot of coins have done in the history of crypto. Or we are going to see a return to the fundamentals at some point, and potentially that's going to be in the rotation phase where we enter the bear market, or potentially the rotation phase where we're entering the next bull market, where these coins that were underperforming, that have real fundamental technology that people can use and banks can use and companies can use, then I think that we will see the correction where these coins like PP Coin, Hyperliquid, and SWI are going to drop out of the top 10, top 15, and some of the coins with the fundamentals, with the narratives, with the new technologies will kind of move their way up. But these are all what ifs. So far, the market is not buying what ICP is selling. It just is what it is. And I cannot figure out why. And so this makes me very, very nervous from an investment perspective. I don't, personally, I have sold crypto and I'm trying to exit the market right before we get into the bear market, if we're not already in the bear market. That doesn't mean I'm going to sell every single crypto or every single coin in that crypto. But we're at this kind of critical point now with Internet Computer Protocol and the price. So this critical point that we're at is that we've been sideways trading for a while. The overall general market is flashing bear signals across the board. Even the treasury companies are starting to slow down. And the sentiment in the market is still extremely bullish and no risk. And this is just straight up, right? That's where the sentiment is, very bullish. But I'm starting to get a little bit bearish. And I don't know what is going to be the catalyst that either makes me comfortable staying in this investment or makes a decision to exit this investment. And by the time you're watching this video, maybe I already made that decision. Maybe I already exited or doubled down and put more in, because there's only so low I personally think that Internet Computer can go from a market cap perspective and from a valuation perspective. Now, this doesn't mean in a macro downtrending market where, for instance, Bitcoin goes down 50, 60%, that the rest of crypto, including Internet Computer, will not have this major dip. But is it worth the risk of exiting the position to buy in lower if going lower means maybe $4 or $3, right? Not that big of a difference. I mean, if we're talking about 50 cents, I probably do want to sell now and buy back in at 50 cents. But we don't know. Bitcoin over the long term, we know it's going to keep going up. There's no catalyst that I see that tells us we're going to be in a prolonged bear market for Bitcoin. Doesn't mean we're not going to be in a bear market. We're going to have bear markets. But I'm saying, generally speaking, it's almost guaranteed Bitcoin is going up through the course of time. Internet Computer and most altcoins, there is no guarantee. They're not solidified in the financial system, in the ecosystem of corporations using these technologies. Not yet. But can it get there? I personally believe Internet Computer can get there. But the market is not believing that. And the market is pricing in the opposite. And so I don't know whether Internet Computer is a good or not good investment. When I'm recording this video, I'm leaning more towards selling, not because I don't think it's a good investment. I think everything that they're putting in and all this development that they're doing is going to pay off if they can get in the narrative. And that's the hardest part, I think. I think a lot of it has to do with Dfinity's the terminology they use. Everything on Internet Computer is something different, right? Chain fusion is called bridging in other ecosystems. DAOs are called dApps in other ecosystems. Neurons is called staking in other ecosystems. Canisters are called smart contracts in other ecosystems. So it's very hard to break through the developers to understand what Internet Computer is. It's very hard to break through to investors to get them to understand, because they have to relearn everything they've already learned in the rest of crypto. And that is a huge, huge hurdle. And I think that hurdle, we've talked about this for a while, is holding Internet Computer back. I think 100% that has a big part to play in it. I also think the marketing of what they're doing is is mismatched, right? For instance, in the beginning of June, they had like a summit to launch Caffeine AI. And then they relaunched it in July. And the relaunch got less enthusiasm and excitement from the market than the first launch. And my question was, why did they even launch it a second time? They didn't really explain why they had a second launch. Granted, they showed us some of the implementations of Caffeine AI and the capabilities, but it's not clear. I mean, even the Caffeine AI advertising that Dfinity did, like they had billboards that just said caffeine. I was getting social media advertisements that just said caffeine. When I think of caffeine, I think of coffee, which, by the way, I need some more of. But that's what I think of when I think of caffeine. I don't think of world computer. I don't think of internet computer. I don't think of decentralized network. I don't think of AI. I don't think of AI implementing dApps and coding. I don't think of any of that. And so at a very basic level, caffeine is a failure from the standpoint of getting the message across of what Caffeine AI is able to do. And this is small tweaks that Dfinity needs to make, right? They can still call it Caffeine AI, but it needs to say Caffeine AI. There should probably be a subtitle under it, right? Caffeine AI, the world's first blockchain-enabled coding AI system, or something like that. But they're not doing any of that. And they launch, they have a Caffeine AI summit, and then we don't hear from anybody. We don't see any videos getting published from those conferences. I mean, we see a few, right? Some interviews here and there. But the general crypto ecosystem is not getting the message. And so part of that, I think, is the messaging itself, as we just talked about. But some of that, I think, is also just getting into the narrative, because AI has not really picked up in the crypto narrative or in the mainstream narrative again, right? Everything is just about what AI is, not how you're going to make money with AI and how businesses can implement AI. And so there's still a lot of questions around this. And that could, maybe AI is not going to re-enter the crypto or the general financial markets from a narrative perspective for potentially multiple years. And that is a concern, because obviously internet computer can do a lot more than just this AI, but the AI for this cycle, I think, was the main narrative, right? The narrative that would separate internet computer from the rest of crypto. And it has, and it will continue to do so. But again, they got to get that message across. They got to get the users on board. They have to get the usage of the network bigger, right? This is a 30-second trading volume for blockchain layer ones. So it's number 32 in terms of token trading volume, which is pretty low. I mean, you could see Polygon is above it, and Polygon has performed from a financial perspective way worse than internet computer. And so do we stay invested in it, or do we take a little bit of a break? I don't know what the answer is just yet, because I don't think that the story for internet computer is over. I don't think that the price activity on internet computer is over. This is probably the most volatile crypto in the last 5 years, right? Going from $800 down to $2, back to $20, now we're at $5. So the floor kind of is already set. Doesn't mean that it can't go lower. But again, network activity is starting to slow down, and that is concerning. And so for me, I do still think internet computer is a good investment, but a very cautious good investment. This is either going to 10x from here, or we're just going to see a slow and constant drain. I don't know which it's going to be. I hope it's not the latter. I hope it's, that the fundamentals of this ecosystem catch up to where the market is. But I don't know that that's going to happen, because the market is in euphoria. And when they're in euphoria, they're not thinking valid. I mean, the market is showing us that it's in euphoria right now. People like Cryptoviser, we're not at the end of the market. We haven't even hit the euphoria phase. And I'm like, okay, Stellar is in the top 10 if you remove the stable coins. Stellar Development Foundation, which is the developer behind Stellar, They don't even have any XLM coins. They don't discuss how they're going to improve the price of XLM coins, how they're going to utilize XLM coins. Same conversation as XRP. Ripple is literally telling the market, we are going to sell XRP coins onto the market every single month, and we are not going to stop. And the market's like, wow, that's so bullish. Oh my God, that's so bullish. It's like, wait a minute. They just sold in the past 3 months, when I'm recording this video in the middle of 2025, approximately 600 million XRP coins, okay? At $3 a coin, that's $1.8 billion. What are they doing with all that money? What are they doing to improve the shareholder value of XRP? They're not, because they're selling the coins. But the market's like, oh no, this is the most bullish crypto in the world. And it's like, how is that possible? Hyperliquid, Stellar, Sui, these are other examples. Bitcoin Cash is still in the top 15. Nobody knows what it does, right? And so there's definitely disconnects in the market. But the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. That is something really important to keep in mind. And so there is one side of the strategy that says keep buying at these low levels, because the fundamentals will catch up and the market will reprice that in. But if we're entering a bear market or exiting a bull market, that may not happen, at least for a while. And so it may be smarter to protect the capital than to keep in this sideways choppiness. And so here's the deal. I don't know whether it's a good or bad investment from a price perspective. From a technological perspective, I think it's a good bet personally. That's why I still hold the coin. But I have been considering offloading some or all of it because of everything that we've discussed in this video, where the metrics are lowering, the promise of caffeine AI and the AI implementation is just not what we thought it was going to be. That doesn't mean it's not groundbreaking technology. It clearly is. But the market doesn't believe it, or the market doesn't think that it should have a higher valuation. Because if the market believed that, we would have higher prices. And that's not what we've seen pretty much all of 2025. And so do we sell now, which is potentially the bottom, right? Or do we hold and potentially go even further into a bottom? I don't know the answer to this question. That's for you to decide for your investment thesis and strategy. But I'm kind of in the middle. And being in the middle means you don't know whether you're bearish or bullish. And that typically indicates the bull market is over. With that, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's conversation. I want to know what you guys are doing with ICP. Are you buying, holding, selling, a little bit of both? Or you don't know what to do either? Let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Check out my other videos on ICP. Just go to my channel, click on videos, click on the magnifying glass, and just type in ICP, and you'll see all of the videos that you can watch through and see my ever-changing investment thesis on where these individual cryptos like ICP stand in my investment thesis. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and crypto on.